Consider the gondola, perhaps the most overlooked and undervalued piece of rolling stock for most collectors. It's not as exciting as a caboose. It lacks the colorful graphics of a boxcar or reefer. It doesn't get to haul the cool loads like flat cars do, bulldozers and mercury capsules and submarines. And most examples are so common that they can be found for under $20, even in mint condition in the box. Still, we know that there's an intrinsic value to gondolas. Even as kids, we use them to haul marbles or Legos, army men, or even dinosaurs. And that is why gondolas of one form or another have been included in most starter sets since the 1940s. These humble cars do their duties without a lot of recognition, without glamour. They just do what freight cars are supposed to do. They haul stuff, and they do it well. But then there's the fact that Lionel's gondolas all kind of look the same. Or do they? I think it's time that these workhorses of the model railroad got their due, and that's what this episode is about. So climb aboard this episode of Toy Train Tips and Tricks as we take a more in-depth look at the humble gondola through the years. Hello again, this is Mike. Now, before I get a lot of hate in the comments about it's pronounced gondola and not gondola, well, first of all, if you look in the dictionary, both pronunciations are technically correct. But for the sake of not driving some of you batty, if you prefer one pronunciation over the other, I'm just going to refer to them as gons for the rest of this video. Fair enough?
Lionel first recognized the value of gons as O-gauge models back in 1919 with the four-wheel number 901. Made through 1925, the car rode on a 5 3/4-inch frame and came painted in several colors and was usually lettered Lakeshore or Pennsylvania. Lionel continued to produce a number of sheet metal gons, both painted and lithographed, 4-wheel and 8-wheel, in various sizes through the end of pre-war production in 1942. These cars were generally very toy-like in appearance and were frequently decorated with brass or nickel nameplates and truck journals. When toy train production resumed in late 1945, the very first Lionel car to receive all-new, more realistic tooling was the number 2452 8-inch Pennsylvania gon. While much shorter than scale at 32 scale feet, its plastic body was realistically detailed, and the car sported brake wheels on each end and steps on all four corners. And also Lionel's new automatic coil couplers. 4 wooden barrels were included as a load for this black car with white lettering. The car was a great kickoff to Lionel's post-war rolling stock production. Produced from 1945 to 1947, the earliest versions with flying shoe trucks and whirly wheels are among the few gons that are sought after by collectors, fetching up to $90 or more in excellent condition. In 1946, a less detailed version was released that lacked the barrels and the brake wheels. It was cataloged as number 2452X, but that number appeared only on the box. It was otherwise identical to the regular 2452. Another oddity for 1946 was the number 4452 Pennsylvania gon. This short gon was essentially the same as the 2452, except that it was modified with an electronic control unit and special couplers for use in the forward-looking but ill-fated electronic control set of 1946 to 1948. In typical fashion, this unusual gon is nevertheless the least coveted of the electronic control cars, often priced at around $125 in excellent condition. When Lionel changed the number 2452 couplers to the magnetic type in 1948, the number changed as well to 6452. A few examples were mistakenly lettered 6462, the same as the larger New York Central gon that was released the following year. These are also a bit more valuable than regular 6452s, sometimes fetching $40 or $50 in excellent condition. Examples from 1949, the final year of this car, are correctly marked as 6452.
Also in 1948, a substantially cheapened version of the 8-inch gon was created, the infamous number 1002 Scout gondola. Intended to compete with the budget trains of Lionel's competitor Marx, not only did these cars lack details like brake wheels, but they were equipped with the much maligned Scout trucks and Scout couplers that were incompatible with other Lionel products without significant modification by the user. The number 1002 came in blue in 1948 and in black from 1949 to 1952. A special set of number 1002 guns was made by Lionel in 1950, specifically in conjunction with the famous D27 disappearing train dealer display layout that was designed to showcase the benefits of magnetraction. This special set of guns were factory equipped with bar-end trucks and magnetic couplers, ditching the Scouts, and they came in special colors: yellow, silver, and red. Since these cars were not regular production items, they are very difficult to find today and fetch premium prices from collectors. Particularly the yellow car, which can fetch $500 or more in excellent condition. In 1949, a larger and more realistic gun was introduced, the ubiquitous number 6462. While still short of true O scale at 42 feet, it was a great improvement over the shorter number 1002 and other 8-inch guns. Numerous variations of the 6462 were made through 1958. The cars could be black, red, green, and the lettering could start either in the second panel or the third panel of the car, and they could have 2 or 3 lines of data. They usually came with a load of 6 wooden barrels, and all of them were decorated for the New York Central. The most sought-after number 6462 is the version that came with the infamous Lady Lionel set of 1957 and 1958. This pastel-colored car can fetch up to $250 or more in excellent condition.
A unique version of the black NYC gun was made only in 1950, the number 6002, featuring Scout trucks but with magnetic couplers. Despite its single year of production, the car is not particularly valuable.
In 1951, a new short gun appeared, the number 6012. This version ditched the Scout trucks and couplers and returned to traditional metal bar-end trucks and magnetic couplers. This model was available through 1956.
In 1952, another short gun arrived on the scene. This one, the number 6032, was a semi-Scout model with Scout trucks but regular magnetic couplers. Like the 6012, it was black with Lionel markings and was available through 1954. Another version of the New York Central gun, the number 6562, was produced from 1956 to 1958. Produced with black, red, or gray bodies, the car usually came with 4 canisters. The version with the gray body and maroon lettering is especially hard to find, often selling for more than $100 in excellent condition. Also in 1956, the number 6062 NYC gun carried a load of cable reels instead of barrels or canisters. This black car was a transition piece, with some having the original metal underframe of early guns and others having all plastic construction. It was produced through 1962.
By 1959, all plastic bodies were the norm on these cars, and the new number 6162 long gun was introduced. These usually came in blue, but could also be found in teal green or a glossy unpainted red, which is particularly valuable. These cars rode on AAR-type plastic trucks with operating couplers at both ends. The blue versions are very common, having been made through 1968. The red version is likely from Lionel using up leftover 6342 bodies from the culvert loader and unloader accessories, and were probably very late production. This rare variation is valued at more than $200 in excellent condition.
Also in 1959, Lionel produced a long gun that was not a New York Central car, the number 616260 Alaska Railroad car. This yellow car can be found with metal bar end or plastic AAR trucks and came with red or white canisters. While appreciated for its unique road name, the car is still common enough that it can be found for around $70 to $80 in excellent condition.
First appearing in uncatalogued sets as early as 1959, but not making it into the catalog until 1962, was the new number 6042 short gon. This gon featured an all-plastic body, but had underbody details cast into the bottom, as seen on this early MPC era car. 6042s normally rode on arch bar trucks with dummy couplers at each end. They can be found in black or blue and were available through 1964.
Closely related was the number 6142 short gon, first appearing in 1961. These cars came in a variety of colors, including black, several shades of green, blue, and a rare olive drab version. These cars usually rode on AAR trucks with one fixed coupler and one operating coupler. They could be lettered for Lionel or could be completely undecorated. The rare olive drab version can command as much as $200 or more in excellent condition. The 6142 was available in one form or another through 1966. Also of note is the 6342 culvert gon, which was made in conjunction with Lionel's culvert loading and unloading accessories. These cars were always red and, of course, were lettered for New York Central. They were produced on and off between 1958 and 1969.
When General Mills took over the production of Lionel trains in 1970, they essentially picked up where post-war Lionel had left off, with short gons using the number 6142 molds, and the longer gons using the 6162 molds. But in terms of decoration, General Mills dropped the every long gon is a New York Central gon philosophy, injecting more variety into the product line. In just the first 2 years of General Mills production, they made long gons in Burlington, Burlington Northern, Republic Steel, and Canadian National, including one very rare variation, the number 9141 Burlington Northern gon, but in Tuscan instead of green, which was made exclusively for Canadian sale. In excellent condition, that model can fetch up to $100 today.
Between 1970 and 1990, Lionel had produced long gons in more than 24 road names, many of them upgraded with sprung metal trucks. That's a far cry from the 2 road names produced between 1945 and 1969.
Short gons also came in a variety of road names and colors during the General Mills era. In fact, by 1980, Lionel had created new molds for the short gon. Older versions have 4 ladder rungs on one end and 2 on the other, whereas the newer tooling has 3 rungs on each end. Between 1970 and 1990, Lionel produced short gons in at least a dozen different varieties, a far cry from post-war production.
The General Mills era also added 2 new gon varieties to the lineup. The Standard O series, first produced in 1973, and the half-sized 4-wheel number 9030 plastic gon made for the Kickapoo Valley set in 1972. And today, gons of various types continue to be offered by Lionel, from components in 3 cataloged sets in 2025 and 2026, to a collection of scale PS5 gons and Christmas gons in the 2025 catalog. It seems certain that these humble cars will continue to serve our 3-rail empires for years to come.
So show a little respect for these little railroad workhorses. They may not be the flashiest rolling stock on your layout, but they do what freight cars are supposed to do. They carry stuff, all kinds of stuff, and they carry it well. So get out your guns and keep the trains running, and we'll catch you next time with more toy train tips and tricks.